you for joining me today. I'm with Dee Charlamagne of Avec Premium Mixers. I'm very excited to talk to her today as these mixers have taken Instagram by storm. I love your branding. I love everything about it. So I'm really excited to talk to you today. So tell me about yourself. Give me a little bit about your background and how your background led to starting Avec.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the Bronx in New York. My family is West Indian by nature, so half St. Lucian, half Jamaican. Always sort of have been part of a huge family that enjoys partying, enjoys mixing to not use that fun. But, everything was always a celebration in my family, like a cause for celebration. You lost a tooth, there was a party. You got an A, there was a party. It was a big anniversary, there was a party. So that has always been sort of my background and roots. I moved from the Bronx and went to boarding school in New Hampshire, in Exeter, New Hampshire, which was a crazy sort of world of prep school. Graduated, went to Harvard for undergrad. And after that, kicked off a career in advertising, always wanted to do something a bit global. So I spent 3 years in this management training program, which led me to spend a year in New York, a year in Hong Kong, and a year, close to 2 years in London. So really got to get this great global experience, which was amazing. Came back and was sort of working in advertising. I'd worked for Vice, the media company / publisher, for a few years, and really enjoyed just the whole aspect of storytelling and what that meant and how powerful stories can be. But really wanted to expand my sort of marketing skills and branding skills with all the finance that came with it. I had built agencies and been at startups, but I think the credibility around, being a businesswoman needed to come from something like an MBA, even though, I probably had those skills innately, but it was really helpful. And it was at business school where I met Alex, who's my co-founder, and he's British. And in the UK, they have sort of huge, gin and tonic culture, just highball drinking culture. They'll call out, their spirit, like I'll have a Hendrix gin and a Fever Tree tonic, and people sort of get that those two things go hand in hand. The quality of your mixer and the quality of your spirit really works. Versus here in America, we sort of have, stepped up our spirit game for sure. So, we're all ordering Casamigos and Tito's and Patron, but then pairing it with like a Ocean Spray or a Tropicana. And it's like, why is that happening? That's really weird. And then on top of it all, this whole health craze, right? So I, like I said, come from this party family, love going out. But when I go out, I'm like, I'll have a tequila soda with a splash of grapefruit and a dash of this. Like,
that's
yeah, exactly. Trying to hack my way to sort of a good drink. I definitely prefer, sugary drinks in terms of taste, but it's just not aligning to my sort of health profile. And so it was like, why is the same person, like in every other aspect of my life, I have the option of being healthy. So, I can have oat milk instead of dairy. I can have sweet green for lunch. I can do all this. And then at the bar, it's like nothing has really caught up to that.
Yeah, we're drinking club soda and just like tonic water.
Yeah, and I would say, we started a year ago and bartenders were like, you two are crazy. People love sugary drinks. Like, you're Jamaican rum punch, or margaritas or whatever. This is what people drink. No one wants, a healthy drink. And then White Claw came out and crushed it. And then everyone was suddenly like, oh yeah, we get it. And so we've been working on it for about a year. And the whole concept of Avec, it means with in French. They're basically these little cans, this is one of them, is changing what you mix with your spirit. So that's in terms of products. So all of our products are all natural, made with real juice. They get the sweetness from the juice. And all natural ingredients, and they have under 20 calories, under 4 grams of sugar, and are made to be mixed. So we didn't sacrifice, like mixing as if you were mixing like a LaCroix with a vodka, that it just doesn't have that mouthfeel you need. So in certain cases, like in our ginger, for example, we added a little bit of agave because it actually helps mask some of that alcohol flavor and make it feel like a full sort of like drink. And then the whole other concept of mix with is also changing what, how, where people mix with. Alex is a tall British white guy. I'm a girl from the Bronx with this heritage, and like, how do we just make it so that people are mixing? And we talk about, like I live in Harlem, our best sales right now in the Hamptons. Like, we are that brand that can flex in both kinds of areas. And so this whole idea of mixing with is like a better product, better people, better experiences, and like having a good time. And it's sort of crazy to launch during Corona, but it's going well. So,
I mean, we're at home not doing anything else, so might as well get a good drink out of it. You have some interesting flavors: jalapeno, blood orange, ginger, grapefruit and pomelo, hibiscus and pomegranate, and yuzu and lime. Like, tell me about how you guys came up with those flavor profiles.
Yeah, so a lot of our experiences have been very global. So like the hibiscus, pomegranate, if you read the can, this little cute pink can, it says, like we were blown away by our trip down to Mexico where you had hibiscus agua fresca. And like, so really inspired by these global flavors. The yuzu is, a Japanese citrus. And so really thinking about how do we introduce new flavors so that it's not just orange, cran, Red Bull, soda flavors, but also things that are accessible. So, you might not know a yuzu, but a lime. Our jalapeno and blood orange also has calamansi juice, but like no one knows what that is, but it's amazing.
Never heard of it.
Another amazing fruit to discover. But each of our drinks basically goes after like the most popular well drinks. So like our jalapeno blood orange is, instead of a spicy margarita, which has tons of calories, just have Avec jalapeno blood orange instead of, a tonic or vodka with a splash of vodka soda with a splash of lime. We have our yuzu lime instead of a paloma, which is like full grapefruit juice and has that sort of like very tart, very sugary taste. We have the grapefruit and pomelo. Pomelo, again, another fruit to discover, but that has like hints of, vanilla and hints of black pepper. And so really trying to bring some complexity while also bringing health to the table.
Yeah.
And new discoveries, that whole idea of changing what you mix with, like new discoveries and making things feel just sort of new, fresh, and building a brand that's not like your old sort of like ginger mixer or tonic. And we get our quinine from the oldest ancient recipes. It's very modern, very fresh. And so
I'm not cool with this because, for the exact same reasons you just said, like you go to the bar and, people think I'm like, first of all, people think I drink all the time. I don't. But then also that I'm like,
for the record.
Yeah, for the record. And then I'm drinking like the fanciest cocktails all the time. When really, if I go out, I'm ordering like a vodka soda. Like that's like my go-to drink. So, these mixers that are low calorie, low sugar, and taste good. Like I am obsessed with that concept. So what did your family and friends say when you told them you were starting this brand with this British guy and you wanted to?
I don't think people really understood it until they saw the can, is the truth. I think everyone understood that I, I've always loved planning parties. I've always loved getting people together. So having all these global experiences, I think when I really decided it was my 30th birthday last year, and I had it in Portugal. I invited my friends from college, from home, from London, from whatever, and they all were together, and they were like, this makes sense. Like the fact that you could convince 30 people to come across the world to celebrate, it makes sense that you're creating a brand that is celebrating this like different ways of mixing with things. And they joke like, people think I drink all the time also, but they're like, you're finally fulfilling your dream of getting everyone drunk because it masks the taste of alcohol so well, or brings the taste of alcohol so well. So it all makes sense. But I think now, especially, launching in this time, they're just like an incredible amount of pride and, can't believe you would take the risk. I think it's very fair to say like business school was not cheap. Like I have student loans. It's not like entrepreneurship in some ways can feel like, this like glamorous thing at all times, but it's like a very real risk. So I think people respect that and get it and see it as more than just, I see it as more than just like a liquid product, but, a whole way of thinking about the world and how people.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who travels a lot, I love that it's more than just like a beverage to you. Like it's like you're incorporating even, these different fruits and, ingredients from around the world that perhaps people aren't familiar with or are aware of. So that's amazing. So how long did it take you guys to come up with the flavors, and what did that process look like?
So we took about a year to come up with the flavors. We were experimenting at home for a while. Got a grant to work with a professional formulator, sort of went through hundreds of recipes. our real, it's something we want to drink all night long was sort of the criteria. But, again, that whole concept of like, can we make something that is under 20 calories, under, a certain sugar count? People were like, that's impossible. You're not going to get to that place. And so it's just a lot of work and sort of cracking. I would say Alex has like an amazing palate, just like cracking, the different combinations. Like our yuzu lime has a dash of lemongrass and, all the different things that are just a little bit of something that add that flavor. I think it took a while, but a year is a pretty fast turnaround actually in this industry to get 5 different SKUs and get them all made. And so we were just determined, I think.
Yeah.
Mainly focus on New York distribution right now because we're literally the ones going down the street in the coolers and stocking the shelves ourselves, but we'll get a distributor. And then obviously national distribution on our website, we can get it shipped. So it's just us two right now, but the hope is, we'll expand. We're on month 2.
You said month 2?
Correct.
Wow. I mean, it's explode to me. I'm obsessed with your social media. I love the graphics and everything. So that's like, you've made a lot of progress in a month. I mean,
2 months, but yeah. It's been really fun. And I think just bringing in, the different backgrounds. Alex was a food and beverage consultant. I was in advertising. And so we just come at it from different ways, and his experience in a different market and applying that here. It's just been really fun to think about and grow and do it sort of organically. Like we're not VC backed or anything. So all of it is just, being scrappy and figuring out how to get it done.
Nice. Have you felt support from your family and your community, like the Black community especially?
Oh, 100. I would say it's been the most, especially on social media, I would say like Black women are like here for it. They're like, okay. They're like, they're really here for it. And I've had, there are very few Black women in the beverage industry, I would say. And so I've just had people just excited to see, sort of like Black co-ownership, like Black leadership, and really supporting that as soon as people, and I think it's the time that we were in too, but I think even beyond that, people will still see it as a brand that speaks to different communities. And yeah, I think it's been incredible. Probably the most surprising community, to be honest, because a lot of times people are like, people love their Hennessy coladas and I think it's just been, there is a whole world of people, looking out for health. We're thinking about health. It's not just this one Black consumer that likes sweet things. So that's been incredibly helpful. And then like on a personal level, like my brother is the one packing boxes right now. And, my family is, we had our first wedding and my mom drove the box to our first wedding customer because she was like, I can't believe someone's mom's ordering this for like a socially distant wedding party. That's like an incredible thing to be a part of. So it's been really, really nice. Yeah.
So what's your favorite drink to make with Avec?
You can't really pick favorites. It's like
picking a favorite.
It depends on the occasion, right? So I would say whiskey and ginger sort of reminds me of like a rum punch, a healthy rum punch. So that's one of my favorites. Mezcal Jalapeno is like a mezcal spicy margarita. The hibiscus and pomegranate, I would say, is like very warm. It has like molasses and allspice. So like I think in the winter, it'll be amazing. And I'm not a huge vodka drinker, but I think that goes best with vodka. The yuzu lime is like a perfect gin, botanical, berry goodness situation. And then the grapefruit pomelo is like the drink that gets me in a lot of trouble. It's like I can drink like 5 in a row with anything.
I love grapefruit anything. So
yeah, it's dangerous. So proceed with that. On that one.
So like what can you see for Avec? Like I know it's only been 2 months, but like if you can, think about a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, like what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I want Avec at every bar. Right now, bars are closed, but I think for, those kind of bar restaurants were actually a good solution for takeaway cocktails, for a world where labor, you don't really want to see someone chopping and making ingredients, but people still want to have fun. And I think even as we enter like a rougher economy, like this is an accessible, luxury essentially. Like it's a small thing that you can do for yourself that feels nice. You're at home. It feels like you can have a different experience. And so for me, that's just the goal. It's like, how can we get people to connect, have conversations, like be part of culture as much as possible? So for me, in 5 years, if we're like, you know, at concerts, at restaurants, we're bringing interesting, not just like fun occasions, but bringing interesting conversations to the table, bringing people that normally wouldn't mix with each other in one room, having conversations like that, to me would be a dream if people saw us as that brand in comparison to a lot of our competitors, which are like, you know, more like focus on only the bartenders and this like very luxury or very sort of old school white man, to be honest, culture.
Yeah. If you could give advice, like somebody out there who's watching, who wants to start their own beverage brand, what advice would you give them?
Business advice, I would say pay attention to unit economics. Every penny counts in beverage. People don't realize, you know, like it's only a whatever $2 to $3 product. So, you know, pay attention to that for sure. And then I would just say, like, really think about, you know, why it exists. I think there's so many beverage brands that just exist because they're following a trend of some sort. You know, like, do we really need another sparkling seltzer brand? Probably not. But like, you know, what you could, maybe you have a reason for it, but like, why does it exist in like a very philosophical form, not just like a drink that people are having? Because I think beverage is such a connective, it's something that people have every day, multiple times a day, connects people. Like, people don't realize the power of just like this little can.
Yeah.
Create conversations and change messages. So I guess that would be my advice.
Okay. So we'll drink for travel. So we have to talk a little bit about travel. Where is your favorite destination that you've been so far? And like, what's your dream destination if you had one?
I really love the Philippines. I think it's just so underrated, so beautiful. Being in Southeast Asia, I just miss, you know, living in Hong Kong, it's like an hour away. But yeah, it's just beautiful beaches, very underrated. Not a lot of tourists really go there too often. Sort of untapped. And then I would say probably, oh man, it's hard. I'm gonna go so many places.
Me too.
Probably New Zealand, because it's so far and it feels like such a, like, when I can go to New Zealand, it means I can probably take 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
And just be there. So I really want to go there. What's your bucket list? What's your first thing?
Man, as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking, like, what's mine? I sound so cliche, but like South Africa, like I love South Africa. I mean, I love the continent in general, but South Africa and Tanzania in particular. I mean, I just find them Tanzanians in general to be so welcoming and just really nice people. Like, I spent a lot of time there, and I sort of feel like when I'm there, it's like, I feel good. Like, I like it there. And it's near the water. It's amazing. And I guess my dream destination would be probably somewhere far, like, that I don't know. I want to say like Sri Lanka.
They're amazing.
Really?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just drive around.
I've been there for quite a while now, so I feel like I'll have to get there one day. So where can people find Avec?
So we're at Avec Drinks on Instagram, avecdrinks.com, and hopefully in lots of stores soon. But in New York, we're in a couple local stores, as well as Mini Bar and Drizzly, so you can get it delivered at home. But as we think about the winter, we're rapidly thinking about where people are going to sort of escape to domestically. So hopefully way more places. But yeah, follow us for updates on Instagram. We have like 5 different flavors, which are all good. They each go with something else. Have them cold, basically, and pour a double shot in. You have like instant deliciousness in your mouth. So,
well, thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, I am looking forward to following along your journey and just seeing where it takes you. I'm excited to get some.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all be traveling soon and see each other, and the world will open up again. But
one day.
At the very least, we can all be drinking the same thing and pretending that, you know, we're having yuzu in Japan or something.
Yeah, I mean, I close my eyes all the time and I'm like, where am I today? All right, cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.